I've been waiting a long time for this moment to come. I'm destined for anything at all. Downtown, lights will be shining on me like a new diamond ring out under the midnight hour. Well, no one can touch me now. Well, and I get to my bed, it's too late. Ready or not at all. Well, I'm so much closer than I have ever known. Wake up!
Hey everybody, welcome back to your friends at Let Me Tell You This About That. This is Mr. J, government name Jay Gillespie. On my left, as always, one Mr. Kevin Kane. Kev, what you got? How you doing?
Good evening, Laura, Mr. J. Feels like it's about 2 in the morning.
Yeah,
It feels like it's really late and it's really dark outside.
we're finally doing it at night, man. We're not
Yeah.
doing morning rules
That
anymore.
and the time change and everything, I'm still all fucked up.
Yeah. I'm feeling it too, man. I'm feeling it. It is a little like it is good to get back to the nighttime is the right time around here, though.
Yeah.
I do like that, but seriously, driving here, I felt like it was like 10 o'clock at night,
Yeah,
and I'm looking
it's-
at my clock and it's 5:30.
Right.
I know. Honestly, I don't know why it's hitting people harder this year. But it seems like the only people just it's a tough day or two. But here we are, like a week and a half in. Like I'm like, this fucking still blows.
It's my second time driving to Southie today.
Yeah,
I don't like coming to Southie once. I'd like to thank you. I coached a game in Southie today.
Yep.
My 10-year-old hockey team, the Dorchester Chiefs, took on Southie at 10:30 this morning, and we got our doors blown off.
Yeah.
We lost by a touchdown, and as you said earlier, with
Minus the extra point.
minus the extra point. Real quick thing about youth hockey. I don't know. Mysteriously, I don't know. It always happens with Southie. One, we're playing their top team.
Right.
We're a B team.
Right.
And mysteriously, somehow, we're playing Southie's top team.
Yeah.
So they got 3 kids that could just skate circles around our kids.
Yeah.
Not that our kids are bad. But,
No.
And then they have this other kid that just mysteriously plays club hockey.
Mm-hmm.
And 10 games into the season, it's his first game.
Right.
And they just mysteriously brought this kid in from like Ontario, I think. And
His name's Guy.
Yeah. Like he's speaking French. But it's always South Boston. Like always, my age group growing up, there were banned from our league because he brought in extra players.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll get him next time.
What is their name? Is it just Southie or?
I don't know. They got the stereotypical Shamrocks on their shirts. I don't know if they're the salty Shamrocks.
Yeah. Well, I know you guys are the Chiefs, man, because you guys
The
wore
Chiefs,
that shit.
We're hanging on to that name.
Yeah.
We haven't been canceled yet with the Chiefs name and the Indian on our jerseys. We haven't been canceled.
No, I know. Well, we grew up like right next to Squantum. Like we had Indians in our like neck of the woods, like shit, like So we'll hang on to that.
There has been some teams that have changed their name, but no, we're still hanging on.
You're not the Dorchester Hockey Club yet, so
No DHC yet.
No
Well,
DHC.
but you laugh. Arlington, where Liz is from, they used to be the Spy Ponders.
The Spy Pond,
And it was like an Indian with like a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
It was after like the pond was the Spy Ponds.
Yeah.
Now they're the Arlington Hockey Club. And it's like AHC on the jersey.
There's heat with the Spy Ponds, man. Right?
Yeah, so even like a lot of the Dedham used to be the Marauders. Now they're like the 67s because they were founded in 1967, the hockey team.
Shit.
So I don't know, Dorchester Chiefs, we're hanging on.
I hear you, man. Looking good, man. I think you guys showed a lot of heart. And,
Yeah, it just. Whew.
Oh man, it was good, Lauren.
The number 22 had 5 of the 6 goals. Mysteriously showed up. Yeah, luckily the game
Assassin.
was luckily the game was at 10:30 because he was bartending the 1 o'clock shift at the 99. He was bartending the 1 o'clock games. He had to get to the 99 for his shift.
Yeah, he's got a lot of pints to pour, man. That prick, man. I saw him.
Jesus.
It looked like, honestly, it was funny. I'm like, is this the Bad News Bears? Like, my God.
Like, we're a good team. This kid was like...
Oh, your poor goalie. It was like his first time, Lauren. This kid's
I
like,
think it was the second game or third game. And he's played great. He's a good goalie. And this kid was just like sniping the puck.
yeah.
Like,
Like,
oh,
I didn't
man.
even see half the goal. I was like, oh, shit, they scored again? Like,
I'm like, After like in between third period, I'm like, all right, guys, comeback starts with 1. Then I'm like, all right, 5-0. I'm like, all right, guys, let's just get 1.
Let's just don't let them hang a shutout.
Then my stepson Jackie tomahawked a girl in the head with a stick.
Oh God!
He got the boot. Like, he got kicked out of the game. Like, it was just.
There was not one for the record books, man.
A good show. And also, one other thing I want to bring up. Last week was mine and Liz's anniversary.
Yeah, congratulations,
Very
man.
nice.
Milestone. We have made it 7 years.
That
is significant because our last marriages did not last 7 years.
There you go.
Okay, you're on a roll now.
We've lasted longer than our first marriages to other people.
Well, there you go.
That is fucking.
And that's a wonderful thing.
And we went to. I know it's you got some smoke with these people to use prison terms. La Familia. And I want to bring something up with La Familia. Never had a bad problem there. A cappuccino we ordered took like 30 minutes. It's steamed milk and coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah. Clean it up. Like, not the best service this time. And like they like disappeared, and so like when she came back, it like gave the debit card. We're like, just fuck it, let's just get out of here.
Yeah.
Right.
Then like they kept the debit card hostage.
You get debit card back, there's Coke on it. You're
The waitress disappeared because she was afraid to come back to the table without the cappuccino. So she went downstairs. So Liz went to like the service station. She was like, "Can we just get out of here? Like, don't worry about taking off the bill. Like, we gotta go."
Yeah.
And like, they're like, "Oh, she's gone." Like, what?
Fucking what?
And it was
Did
because
she
she didn't
take
want
my card with her?
She did because she didn't want to come back to the table.
Oh Jesus!
Without 25-30 minutes cappuccino.
Now she's got your credit score.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
And good luck paying them
anything
bills.
she does is going to be better. That's my credit score.
That sucked. And like you wouldn't mind, but you're in the north. I mean, honestly, I have to. It's funny. My buddy Mike, who in the new year we're going to be taping like Mike reviewing stuff, but he's from the north end, so like reservations aren't really in it. He's not an open table guy, you know.
Well, they weren't doing reservations, so it was 2-hour wait. So we just went to the Green Dragon, had a couple of beers there.
Fuck yeah.
And Liz yells at me for like holding court with tourists. Liz was like holding court, talking to tourists.
Lauren, Kevin's been known to hold court and
Yes.
Like
talk
Liz
to
was
tourists.
talking to
that.
tourists and like had a great time. Then we went to the Black Rose after.
Yeah.
Line for the Black Rose. Ginty's up on stage, sees us through the window. Next thing you know, manager comes out. All right, you're all set.
Nice.
Walked through. It was nice. It was good after that, but a lot familiar. Cleaned it up. Jeez.
Yeah.
What's going on? I guess. I don't know.
Oh yeah, we're not
Clean it
going.
up. Yeah.
We'll save that for another episode of My Crazy Italian Family.
Clean it up.
when we have time, well, that'd be a whole separate podcast, actually. Probably.
Basically, yes, it would.
Nice.
The good thing is most of them are dead and can't really, come back and get me or anything like that.
Well, until Michelle's on, and then
Yeah, exactly.
Kevin will be. If Michelle's on, Kevin will be hiding anyway. So
I know Kevin will be under the table.
exactly.
Poor thing.
But
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
yeah, but now, like honestly, the coronavirus is over. Like people are fucking like, you can't. Like that was the thing. Like like this. And Mike's a Hall of Fame North End legend. He walked in. They're like, "We're sorry." Like some little girl, like 25, like, but we need to have a reservation. Oh, what the fuck?
Hey,
wait, where's Murphy? What's that?
Is this his last name? Does he have an Irish last name?
Yeah, Murphy. Yeah, exactly.
Hey!
He literally like, "Hey, how come everybody thinks I'm so Italian?" I'm like, "Mike, man, we don't have I don't have the crayons or the time to fucking break it down, brother." But he's priceless. But yeah, we like it's on. Like every place in Boston is just jammed.
The Black Rose been having like lines like.
Yeah, good. Well, I mean, I hope the numbers are gonna be okay because comedy's pretty fun.
I just got my third shot.
Me too.
Like you got the boost, I'm like, fuck it, in for a penny, in for a pound.
And for a pound.
I'm going to be scheduling mine.
Like it's just,
Yes.
You can go online at CBS 8 in the morning and like everything showed like I got it that day. I was like,
Yeah, I'm going to do that after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, no
side
definitely, man.
effects.
Like the spread necks are funny too. They're like, "Oh no, it's gonna change your DNA." I'm like, "Great, fucking bring it on."
Yeah,
man.
what's the worst? Like, yeah.
And give me a vaccine for what's in my DNA already. That's fine.
Exactly. It's going to tackle my fat gene. Go for
Right.
it.
Let's change some shit, man.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Take it. You can have it. Thank
I
you
got some
very
titties
much.
we can throw on the.
So like, Tommy and Danny, I don't know if I'm going to get it. Just I don't want to deal with them getting a shot. They're just a pain in the ass. Like I got to take them for 2.
I hear you.
You know.
Tommy probably like wind up doing A-okay, man. And dude, funny. little side note before we move on to our next segment. But last night, the cutest thing ever. If you're friends of Kevin on Facebook, man, you got to check out Danny trying to conquer the ice, man. That was
oh my God, he's so adorable. God love him.
So Danny, he started hockey in Brighton at Warrior, the Bruins practice rink. So the Bruins learned to skate. Then he does Dorchester learn to skate.
right.
And it's his first year doing full no crate. Like, we actually taped on his helmet, please do not give me a crate. Like, do not feed the animals. Because he'll go out there and he'll scam, like, the coach.
Right.
And because he did it, when he was 3 years old, we were changing his diaper and putting him on the ice.
Gotcha.
And he was 3 weeks into it, no crate. The last year, he did a crate the whole time. I'm like, what are you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
I can go so fast with a crate. And he was scamming the coaches to, like, give him a crate. It's like, no, you don't need it. So this year, I'm like, no crate. So he's been doing hockey Wednesdays and Saturdays. So then Tommy's been asking to get on skates. Don't know how that's going to go.
Oh, man. Well, if he's asking for it, man, that might be...
Like, the big thing about Tommy, like, he's on the spectrum. And I always say, like, on the spectrum, kind of. Like, he does not check any box. Like, he'll talk to you full... People are like, oh, people who don't know, like, kids on the spectrum don't make eye contact. This kid will talk your ear off.
This kid is going to be our first autistic president, man. I'm fucking calling that
great
shit.
if he was.
Like, this
Hashtag
kid,
Team Tommy,
you go to the
man.
playground, and he's
The mayor.
he's the mayor of the playground. He's got, like, 6 kids playing with him.
Yeah, he's my boy, man.
Then when he plays sports, you're like, there it is.
There we go.
There he is.
You can't fake that.
You're like, not the best sports guy.
I feel that,
we're going to
too.
be going to his theater productions.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Oh, well,
But
Lauren.
now, like, he's asking to play, like, hockey. I'm like, oh, fuck. That's not going to be good.
Well, it's funny. I was at the rink today, and I was watching these kids skate and watching Danny on the thing last night. And the only reason I bring it up is because, like, I knew I was never gonna be fucking like my ankles. Even when I was like a little kid, just went like I was holding on to the deer like life at all times. So it was bringing back memories. But yeah, no, that was some cute shit. I don't even like kids, man. And Kevin got some cute ass kids, man. That's all we got to say about that. Actually, it's funny, but you brought up On the Spectrum. The TV show's going strong. Me and Lauren actually told jokes at Napolitano's, Johnny's Napolitano's Pizza.
Jake and Johnny's Lounge.
Yes, in beautiful Federal Hill. This one comedian that we had the pleasure of having on, he had these great jokes. He's talking, and he was all serious. He's like, no. Like On the Spectrum, Love on the Spectrum is a great show. And, and we were like, yeah. And he's like talking about this one girl. He's like, I'm not going to lie. Like, he's like, she's kind of like an On the Spectrum 9, which was like the joke of the night. So.
It was awesome. It was really good. And I'm like, I love that show so much. And I cry every time I watch it.
I ended up watching it last night. Kids were at my mother's house last night. So, like, my mother's like, oh, I'll take the kids. So me and Liz like, yeah, we'll go out to dinner. We get home from Danny's hockey at like 4. I'm like, I just need like a nap real quick. So I'm taking a nap on the couch.
Yeah.
I look over at Liz at like 5:30. She's asleep. And I'm like, yes.
Yeah, that's good.
So she wakes up like 6. She's like, we're not going out to dinner, are we? I'm like,
nah.
Uber Eats.
DoorDash.
She ended up going to bed at like 10:30. Netflix, Love on the Spectrum.
There we go.
And they show 2 of them getting married.
Oh, there you go.
I'm a puddle.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. It was so good.
I'm like crying.
Fucking kicked on late,
then
man.
I'm like, wait a sec, this is the last show.
I know.
I'm gonna miss everybody.
Oh, shit.
And there's my boy Michael.
That's the
He had like
right
a girlfriend the whole show. And
he fucking got it to the 1-yard line.
he fumbled on the one.
Yeah.
That sucks, dude.
Poor
Turnover.
Michael. And he's
But
like,
God
he's
love him. He still wants to try.
it was like he's giving up his search for love.
They'll find him. That's when it will find
And
him.
then the other poor bastard who keeps talking about dinosaurs.
Oh.
They go to like the zoo, and he's like, don't talk about pterodactyls. Don't talk about. I'm like, come on, you fucking talk about dinosaurs again.
Okay.
I ended up watching that. That was my crazy night without kids last night. I was loving the Spectrum, Chinese food.
Well,
There you go.
that's a winner in my book, man.
Yeah.
That is a winner. And yeah, so hey, we were lucky this week, folks. This is we've been lucky to have a guest or two here on the show. Let me tell you this about that. This week, Lauren, would you be do the honors on telling the people who we're lucky enough to have?
I would love to. We have in the house via Facebook rooms, Mr. John Perrotta, who is a fabulous comic that I discovered down in Rhode Island.
Indeed.
And became friends with him on Facebook. And he started talking about this new open mic that he was putting together over at Jake and Johnny's Lounge, which is next to Napolitano's Pizza in beautiful Federal Hill. Mm-hmm. And I said, this looks like a really fun thing. And he messaged me back and he's like, oh, you should come down and try it. And I'm like, really? Okay. Geez, that sounded really cool. And we did. We signed up. We got 2 slots.
Yep.
And he was nice enough to ask us to co-host, which was huge because we have never hosted or co-hosted. So it was a big thrill for us to be able to go do that.
Absolutely.
And Jay took the first half of the show. I took the second half of the show. We had some really good comics, some really funny people.
Yep.
Great night, no problems.
Mac Jones be damned.
Because we're kind of going between the game on one and hosting, game on the screen, hosting. And we won. So I think it was because we were co-hosting.
I think so. And some really hysterical shit.
It was really good. And we had Stephen DiNuccio, who was helping us put together the list.
Yep.
He kept us on track, kept us on time. Mm-hmm. And it was a great time. It was had by all. I think it was a really great night. So we are very lucky to have on the show this week Mr. John Perrotta, who we're going to chat about comedy and get his take on things.
Get his take on things. John, can you hear us?
Yeah, how you doing, guys?
Hey, welcome to the show, buddy. We're doing good. Thanks for asking. How's your Sunday going?
Thanks for coming out to Brooklyn Napolitano's Pizza, Jake and Johnny's Lounge. You guys did an awesome job.
Thank you
That's
so
the word
much.
I got.
Thank you.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you, buddy. It's all that, if we did badly, we were at least going to get great pizza, man. So we were buoyed up about that. But no, thanks for coming on the show, man. We've had the pleasure of meeting you. Me and Lauren, we've come down and hung out there at Jake and Johnny's for a second and learn about you. And I just wanted to put things together for our people listening. You've been in comedy now for about how many years altogether?
Well, I actually started in '83, and I got up 3 times. The first time I did really well, then I bombed twice. And I said, this isn't for me. And I left comedy for 8 years. I didn't know it was the comedy boom back then in Boston, and I was in Providence. I left in '91. I came back. I went to a comedy show at the Comedy Connection. There was a Boston comic, Jonathan Katz, was on. He was really funny.
Yeah.
And I said, I got to try this again, and I took a comedy class, and I've been doing it ever since, 30 years now.
Good work, good work. And in the meantime, you also had another career going, I believe, that was running parallel.
Yeah. I was a correctional officer at the prison here in Rhode Island. They call it the Adult Correctional Institutions. I was over there for
I know that
6
one.
years.
Excellent. I didn't want to throw you under the bus, but Kevin was very excited. We had a fellow correction officer.
21 years into my bid. I've been there 21.
Great.
Looking to make my break, looking to make my escape.
I walked in there one day. I was 60. I walked in one day. I was going to do 2 to 5 more years. My lieutenant comes over. He said, we're going to make you block a mental health unit. We're going to do all these changes, telling me all day about all the changes. And at 2:30, I said, put me over a half hour early. I'm retiring. I walked out the door and I never went back. I had enough time. I had the age, and I walked away, Jay, and I walked away, and that was it. I never looked back.
Gotcha.
I miss my buddies there that work there, but as far as the place, oh my God, I don't miss it.
Yeah, no, I fully get you. I always say that, honestly, for a job that, most people don't pay attention to, they make people do it way too long, and my hat's off. I mean, I had to work. I was a court officer, so I had to work with sheriffs hand in hand and what have you, obviously. And thankfully, there's some dark humor. That's how I found Kevin on the transport team. That's how we met. And but yeah, no, my hat's off, because we do have a lot of jail guys that like to listen and give Kevin a hard time. And we're trying actually to get a comedy night going down here in Boston. Our friend Thomas Donahue's putting a little something together in the beginning of December. December 9th at Amarine. So we're trying to see if there's anyone in the ranks that may want to come out and try and crack a mic. And
so real quick,
that'd be cool.
And let's see.
I don't like drinking with a bunch of correction officers, because we're not good people. When we drink, things get broken.
Things get
my wife's like, "Can I go?" I'm like, "Absolutely not." Right. You're not allowed. And Lauren's like, "Can I bring someone?" I'm like, "I really wouldn't recommend."
Well, he's military, so I'm thinking at least I'll have a bodyguard that night. Jesus.
Yeah, maybe, I guess. My wife's like, no, these people aren't good people. Like we've been
Okay,
on.
then
Like,
I
we
have
go
to ask the question. Then why am I going to this?
Like we've had like booze cruises, but like the cops waiting for us at the dock.
Well, that's what.
Yeah, like we're just not good people.
It's a little crazy.
Yeah.
Well, and that's and coming out of the pandemic. That's what Thomas's idea is. Like instead of like we'll have people get back together and
Yeah,
Oh,
like Tommy
yay.
Donahue thinks like this. It's my former lieutenant thinks like, oh, it's gonna be great getting all together. I'm like, you're an idiot. Like, what? See, right now I work 4:30 in the morning to 12:30. I don't see anybody. I haven't been to roll call in 8 years.
right.
Like, I don't see anybody, and I love it.
Wow.
Like that's. I leave at 12:30. Everybody's at lunch. Like, oh, where you going? I'm like, I'm going home. Like, I go to lunch at 10 in the morning by myself.
That's
Great. I don't see anybody.
And well, the good part is though, C6 our police station's right across the street from the place. So,
It is, yeah.
Yeah. And then one of my uncle actually, who's the jail guy, I get to roast him a little bit. I'm gonna be fed a few
we
lines.
posted on Facebook about it. Like immediately, like one guy was like, wanted to make it political. I'm like, fuck you, you're not coming.
Well, that's good.
Like, you're out.
Yeah, leave the political stuff. Yeah, no one needs that right now, man. Like, especially going into the holidays.
Yeah, just go have a good time.
That's all. We're the new jail guys, man. We're the talk about real estate and shit.
Yeah,
not doing snappies at like 3 a.m. off the hook his ass. I mean,
those are the guys in the 80s.
Yeah, well, I know. Those are the jail guys I knew, man. I was like, what? You guys got real estate now? What happened?
One of the best was when we had Deer Island. One of the stories was an inmate escaped from Deer Island for a weekend. He came back and they wanted to give him a piss test, a urine test. He wouldn't do it, so one of the COs turns to him and goes, I was at a fucking wedding this weekend. You're failing this one. And the CO pissed in the cup for him.
Nice.
Failed for everything.
Failed everything. Everything. Yeah. That was
So those are the guys that will be coming.
There we go.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to this now.
There you go. Had to put a button on that for you, but so there you go. So John, man. So and that will end our screw segment until
Seriously, the three of you guys can just get together and have your own podcast at this point.
Well, yeah. Like I said, it's a separate, non-comedy based fucking podcast. But anyway, John. So you've been back at it, and you've been booking shows. You've been having a few different rooms. I saw that you had like the Best of Boston like about 2 weeks ago. You had Lenny and the whole group come down. Like, and how you liking coming out of the pandemic? Like trying to put shows together.
Well, I came out. I decided a few months back. I said I'm either going to go for it and come back and come out swinging, or I'm going to just not do it anymore. And I got the comedy in my blood. So after a little thinking, I said, I'm going to come out swinging, and that's what I've done. There's a lot of ups and downs coming out of this thing. You know what I mean? There's some of the shows have grown well. But we did have Johnny Peasy. Got together Lenny Clark, Don Gavin, Steve Sweeney. That was an incredible night. Yeah. The Legends of Boston Comedy. That was an amazing night. Those three guys are like unbelievable, hilarious. You know, that was one of the big thrill for me to work with them. You know,
that's
Absolutely.
Good. Yeah, no,
it's like a master class. When those three guys get together, it's like a master class in comedy.
Yeah,
watching them.
Yeah,
totally. You know what the funny part was? Before the show, the Patriots were playing Dallas. They went into overtime.
Oh no!
Steve Sweeney's at the bar. He's got his hat on. He's at the bar. We can't start the show because the Patriots are in overtime. So we start like a half hour late. Steve Sweeney is giving updates to the audience. He's doing different voices. He's about the game or what's going on in the game. He's yelling stuff up. That was the funniest part. One of the funniest spots of the night. Sweeney giving updates on the Patriots Dallas game for like a half hour.
Nice. I'm happy he wasn't taking action. Like, like, all right, who's got the over under? No, nice, man. So let's go back a few years. I just want to find out, like now your family, like, are you like one of like how many kids are you?
I was the only kid, Jake. After me, my parents looked at each other. We better take a break. And it was the only one.
They like, oh, we hit pay dirt, man. We don't need a.
No,
we gotta stop. We gotta see what happens here. We gotta stop. So my mother, for whatever reason, couldn't have any more kids. She was one of 10. My father was one of 3, and I was the only child. You know.
Gotcha.
Now, John, were you the class clown in high school?
Oh yeah. When I got in high school, from the minute I walked into high school until I graduated, I was in detention. I swear I was in detention almost every night.
Right.
To the point where they told me you either got to get a job at the prison or Well, you're gonna be there. You're gonna be there. So I figured I better go apply and get in there before they lock me up.
Yeah, definitely.
I was always in and out of trouble in school.
Gotcha. No, I hear that. That was that's how a lot of guys I think found their way. Into the correction. Might as well get a paycheck for it.
Yeah.
And,
That's crazy.
No, totally. So like, how old were you when you 83? Like what brought you to doing your first open mic? Like, what made you, like, was it your friends egging you on, or like, was it something you always wanted to do?
Well, people always told me I was funny. It's kind of crazy, my story, because like I'm a recovering alcoholic, and back in it was 83. I went to a rehab. They had a rehab in Newport, Rhode Island. They had a talent night. I had never been on stage, but I was always cracking jokes. They had a talent night.
Nice.
So I decided I'm going to do comedy. I signed up for it. I wrote some stuff about the rehab. I got up, and it was a full auditorium. I had a good set. My first time, everybody had them laughing. I liked it. And then I went to Periwinkle's Comedy Club. It was in Providence. And I got up. I said I did really well. And then the next 2 times I was god awful. I bombed, and I was like, oh my God. I walked away. Nobody took me into their wing and said, hey, come to this open mic, do this. I just kind of walked away, and that was it for like 8 years, I was 33, and I started. Actually, I was about 25, 1983. I was about 25 when I got up the first time. Then I came back, and I was 33 when I came back and really got into it, So I'm a late bloomer.
Gotcha. Yeah. We're a couple of late bloomers. Yeah, me and Lauren too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
Yeah.
And I actually
better late than never.
Exactly. That's how I look at it.
Exactly. And you're right too. You didn't have anyone to pull you into another mic. That's what I walked away too, because I did the same thing. I walked into Dick Doherty's around here, and I thought I was going to be like Doug Stanhope, and I did some fucking off the wall, like fucking really offensive like comedy. And at horror, then of course, like, gaping like looks of horror. And I never went back, but everyone at my work knew I did it. So like, for about a year or two, like, it was, no one said anything. And then one time my buddy Joe broke my balls, and he's like, yeah, well, at least like, like, hey, that one time you thought you real funny. Like that one time you went and told jokes there and no one laughed. And I was like, you motherfucker. Like, I was like, oh, you're striking deep. But that's what got me back. I was like, all right. So I tried again, and I was at it for a while and got injured. But but I hear you on taking a break for a while, But I see these young Turks, and they could use to come back, like, if they have a bad night, but they don't, So I hear what you're saying.
Yeah. Believe me, I wish I stuck with it in '83, because, I would have loved to have gone to Boston. I didn't know about the Ding Ho in '83. I wish I got to the Ding Ho. I've talked to people. I interviewed Stephanie Peters. I have a column I do every month. I pick out a comedian. I'll get you guys down the road. I pick out one comedian every month. New comedians, veterans, I get one comedian every month, and Stephanie Peters is in December. And she talked about, she wasn't doing comedy then, but she hung around the Ding Ho, and she saw John Panette, Jay Leno, Lenny Clark, Paula Poundstone, Janine Garofalo. I mean, she went on and on, the names like Kevin Meaney, all of them, Gavin Sweeney. She said Jimmy Tingle was a bartender then. At the Ding Ho back in the 80s, great comedian from Boston. She was saying all the names. It was Bobcat Goldthwait, all of them. They were all there. I would have loved to have walked in. Stephen Wright. Imagine walking into the Ding Ho in the 80s and seeing all this great talent. I would have loved to have just been there to watch it. Never mind, amazing.
It was like the Mecca. It was like where Boston comedy really started and was born.
Yeah.
And everyone started at the Ding Ho. And it's kind of like this, the Ding Ho. And it's like, you like want to like bow down to it, because if it wasn't for that place, we all wouldn't be here right about now.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of places that caught like the Catch a Rising Star, but like a lot of the crowd, I know like the people that came up afterwards, like, Dane Cook or like, Joe Rogan but a lot of people came out of like, even the voice for SpongeBob, like I forget his name. I feel bad for not knowing his name, but
I mean, it's just, we had so many really great places in Boston. We had, Catch a Rising Star. We had Nick's Comedy Stop. We had the Comedy Connection, the Ho and everything. Yep. And then all of a sudden it just kind of like went away.
It went away, yeah.
And I'm hoping in the next, it seems like since the pandemic and everything, Boston comedy wants to come back. It's just we need to figure out a way of bringing it back.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And also too, like, you know, and that's the thing, and learning more about, like, you know, Providence comics, you know, oh, do me a favor, John, if you wouldn't mind, telling us, like, who your favorite, like, when you were young, comics were, and then who do you like now? Like, who should we be looking at in the Providence scene that's really cool that we can take a look at?
There's a lot of you know, some of the veteran guys are great. There's some newer guys that came up. I do the open mics. I kind of watch, and certain comics will come in, and then I'll put them in other shows, and you know, we got a nice scene going in Rhode Island, Providence. You know,
It's really
there's
starting
so many
to
guys.
explode.
It's not to mention what's that.
Oh, I'm just saying in Providence, it's really starting to like build up. I mean, we see a lot more open mics down in the Providence area. More clubs are opening up.
There's a lot of different open mics. Yeah. We got a lot of great comics. I mean, you were talking about the clubs closing. When I came back in '91, I performed at Catch a Rising Star in Harvard and Cambridge, and then they closed.
Yeah.
I performed at Stitches Comedy Club. Vinny Favorito was the host, and I did that a couple of times, open mic, and that closed.
Right.
And I performed at the Periwinkles Comedy Club in Providence, and that closed. Everything just closed up. The boom was over.
Right.
Yeah.
And all these clubs started closing. It was like, my buddy looked at me. He was in my comedy class with me, and he said, "Why don't we start our own comedy now?" I looked at him like he was crazy. How are we going to start a comedy? I looked at that as like going to the moon.
Right.
Like, that seemed like impossible to me, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Now it's like, it's nothing. Oh, we get a place, we put it together. But back then it was like, how do you start a comedy? How do you do it?
Right.
How do you get the audience in it? I didn't know anything about it. So I've kind of learned trial by error. I still make mistakes, but I have fun at it, and I try to give everybody stage time. We have a good time, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, definitely, man. And you know, like, you know, coming back from the pandemic, you know, I think, you know, next year, you know, I think things will stabilize more, and we'll probably see more, you know, places because a lot of the restaurants got wiped out, like around here. I'm not sure how it is in Rhode Island when
we lost a few. Yeah, we lost a few.
Yeah, you know, so it's a tough playing field and what have you, but it's also fun to, honestly, the under bubble of comedians that where me and Lauren are, like, you know, experiencing, like, just hitting these different mics and making friends, like, you know, like, and just, like, you know, networking and, like, you know, and looking forward to, like, you know, like, grouping up and doing shows together, hopefully in the spring and the summer,
Absolutely,
and what have you, but yeah, no, and you know, and also too, like, I think, you know, it's weird with comedy that, like, you know, a lot of, like, TikTok or apps and stuff like that, like, a lot of people are confused as to, like, you know, where it's going to go. But I think people need to get out after the last fucking 2 or 3 years and get some laughing in. So,
well, it's funny. We've been going to a lot of comedy shows along with open mics and stuff. And there are some people out there who go, "Wow, this is my first comedy show."
That's crazy, isn't it?
And I'm like,
yeah,
how can you not have gone to a comedy show, even like before the pandemic?
Yeah.
Like, you've never sat in a restaurant or in a club and saw, you know, some of the best comedians ever. This is like your first time going.
Does that happen at your shows a lot, John? You get a lot of newbies, or?
I was at a show the other night, and this guy told me he's never been to a comedy show. He's never been to a comedy show. I'm in disbelief when I hear that, because some nights we're at 2 or 3. You know what I mean?
Right.
This guy, somebody's never been to a show, because it's in our blood, you know.
Yeah.
Comedy, but when you meet somebody that's never been, it's kind of like odd to us. You know what I mean? I find it like, wow, I can't believe it, because I've been to comedy shows since the '80s. You know, I've been going, and I just don't even believe it. It blows my mind, you know.
It blows my mind too, and I think, like, you know, I think the one thing in Boston too, like, we had, you know, it was kind of a bruising form of comedy, so people were like, "Oh, I'm gonna get picked on," and, like, you know, so I think that was like the older fucking, like, you know, group. But like when I was working with Dick Doherty, I was doing the door there, and that was always the thing. Like, I don't want to sit up front because they're gonna pick on me. I'm like, no one picks on you. And then you put them up front and they get picked on, but not in the mean way anymore. Like, I think that's the thing, you know. Like, people are like, oh, I don't want to get, like, I don't want to pay money and get, like, insulted. You know, like, I'll go to Dick's Last Resort or something like that for that. But yeah, no. You know, it's definitely, you know, it's a crazy What do you got coming up and like on the horizon for yourself, my friend? Like, are you doing comedy as well? Are you doing sets, or are you just?
Oh yeah, no, I do, and I perform. Last night I did a real nice show. We did a show for the veterans. It was on a Navy base in Newport, Rhode Island.
Oh, nice.
So it was a lot of there was older veterans, people active. Matter of fact, 2 people in the Navy that did comedy were there. Because one of the comedians knew this girl that did comedy. She's a lieutenant in the Navy, and her boss came in. He's a lieutenant commander. She's been doing comedy 8 months. He's been doing it 2 years. So as the show went on, I said, you know what? This would be a good touch. You know, if you two want to go up, I'll give you, 5-6 minutes apiece and put you up before I go up at the end.
That's
and we
great.
put them up, and they both did very well. And I was glad I put them up. And I always try to, help the comics out. So, hey, there's Navy people and veterans here, and what better audience you're going to have to put these 2 Navy, active duty Navy personnel. So I put them up, and they were really funny. They were really funny. They did really well.
That's good. And that's a memory they're going to hold on
and
to.
I got a lot of shows. I mean, I got different, I got a restaurant we've been doing about 9 years, except for the pandemic. It's called the Lemongrass Asian Bistro, Warwick, Rhode Island.
We've heard about that.
Back in the 90s, I came up with this idea. I went to one of those all-you-can-eat chicken dinner places.
Yeah.
I came up with the idea. I don't know if I'm the first one that came up, but I came up with the idea of all-you-can-eat, all-you-can-laugh in a comedy show. And we did this place, Old McDonald's Chicken Farm in Swansea, Mass. And we used to get 300 people. It was $16 a person, and we'd fill it. Tom Carter I had there. I had Bob Marley there. I had Ed the Machine Regine, was a big comic back in the day in Rhode Island.
Yep.
I had some big comics. I had Bill Burr. He came and I had him host a show. I said, Bill, you want to host? $25. This is back around 92, 93.
Love it.
Bill Burr goes up. He had bushy red hair. And he hosts the show. and he was funny. I mean, whoever knew, you see somebody, you don't know which one of us is going to break from the pack and maybe make it big. And all of a sudden, I was at a comedy club a few years later. I'm looking up, and there's around 2003, Bill Burr's on Comedy Central with his own special, and I was like, wow. And then he took off,
Yeah, excellent.
He's a funny guy.
So you don't know what's going to happen. You got to keep. I believe you got to stay in the game. The worst thing I did was get out.
Right.
You got to stay in the game, and you never know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, for me, everything happened. I've been doing it 30 years, right? Everything happened in 3 months. All the big things. I had worked with this comedian, Tammy Pescatelli, for Trios Comedy in Connecticut.
Yeah.
She was headlining, a very nice lady and very funny national act. And, I didn't think nothing of it. A few months went by, and she got in touch with me. She said, I'm putting a show together at the Friars Club in New York City.
Wow.
I mean, there was no pay or anything, but you want to come and be in the show. It's an Italian-themed show.
Yeah.
And my friends are saying, the Friars Club, you're not going to ever get in. You got to go. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I went into the set at the Friars Club. That was a blast. Shit. And then a couple of weeks later, Bill Burr texted me, said, you want to open for me in Hampton Beach Casino Ballroom and for a couple of thousand people? I'm like, what? So and then I opened for Bill Burr one night, 2 shows, 2,000 people show, and then about 3 weeks later, I never worked with Lenny Clark somehow in all these years.
Right.
I worked with Lenny Clark on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, like fundraisers, different. Johnny Peasy booked me the whole weekend, and I worked with the same bill with Lenny Clark. So I had all this big stuff happen in 3 months.
Love
and
it.
I thought, wow, maybe I'm going to turn the corner. Maybe something's going to happen. Right. And that was it. That was my claim to fame. In 3 months out of 30 years, that was it.
Well, you're a funny cat, man, and like I said, you never know what tomorrow brings. We've seen you do your thing, man. Would like to see you do your thing again, but and also too, everyone, we need a godfather, need someone to run the show too. So sometimes
I'll definitely get you guys up. Yeah, I'll definitely have you guys up and get you involved this coming year.
Absolutely, we'd love to come work with you again.
Definitely. Thank you, man.
Yeah, I love having you guys. I love mixing the shows up and getting some of the Boston comics up and Connecticut. I love mixing the shows up. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Trying to help everybody get stage time too, give opportunities.
Well, that's the hard thing I think we're running into is, there's a lot of open mics out there. There's a lot of shows out there, but it's trying to actually get your foot in the door and getting stage time. And you try to reach out to people. You're reaching out to people, and you're contacting bookers. Anything this week. And after a while, it's like, oh my God, did I make the right decision of my future career? But seriously, you just have to keep going, and just because every time you get a no, it leads you to a yes.
And and on top of that too, with me and Lauren coming down, like honestly, like like when there's cats that want to come up from Providence that want to do mics in Boston, like like at least they'll have a contact up here, and we can put them to point towards in the right direction and stuff like that, and so we're all about helping out, like because we saw some funny shit down there on Thursday, and I want to keep Lauren always writes down the names of everyone that we perform with. So
yes.
So, but if anyone ever wants to come up, and like I said, in the new year, it's kind of tough too, because I think with coronavirus, a lot of people still aren't coming out. There's still even musicians are having a hard time, and I think I think that and the next that next year hopefully will be
absolutely. I mean, I think next year, God willing, with the booster shots and everything like that, and all the kids getting vaccinated, I mean, I'm hoping we're going to have like a plateau where we can just go, okay, I think we're over that hump, and we're almost there, and we can really get back to doing shows and putting shows together and hooking up with people and going, hey, I saw you on this thing. You want to come do this thing with us? And, and just keep that connection going, with other comics and everything. And
best we can do.
That's what we got. We have to keep on working on for next year and stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm hoping 2022 is a really good year. I'm plugging ahead. Matter of fact, I got some different dates today, the book stuff, and I'm just going like we got to put this behind us. That's how I got to think.
Yeah.
As somebody that's a comedian, but also that books.
Right.
I can't sit and let me wait 2 months and see how bad it is. I got to plan like it's going to happen.
Exactly.
God, hopefully nothing gets canceled again like it was, but you have to kind of plan forward. You're either going to do it or you're not, because you can't just sit back and wait.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you just hope these things happen. You plan.
Right.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. And that's why every time I watch a Bruins game and the stand, and it's not a super spreader, like we're on the cusp of putting this shit away. I can feel it, man. So
absolutely.
So like you said too, plan for the future, and if we got a pivot, hey, man, we're smart enough to do that too. I think so. Fucking But hey, listen, John, thank you so much. We don't want to hold you back on your Sunday night. We know you probably get the 8 o'clock game is just about the
comedy with you guys. I could talk comedy with you guys till 4 a.m. I love comedy. I could go on all night. I love it.
Well, we'd love to have you back at some point.
Comedians. Yeah, we have a lot. It's just I love the business. I love the whole thing about everything.
Well, then that just means we have to have John Perrotta come back next year and be on the podcast again.
If he'd be so kind, would we be able to get you back early in the new year?
Yeah, anytime.
Awesome.
I love coming on. Always love talking comedy. I'm definitely going to get you guys up. You got to come too, Sheriff.
Yeah, Kev's our boy. He's our MC, man. We're gonna get.
You got to come up with
him,
man. And I'll get you guys up. We'll put you on too. We'll get you all in the same show.
We will. Yeah, that's a
promise.
It's on tape now, Kane, man.
Gotcha.
Absolutely. Well, John, thank you so much, man. You enjoy the rest of your Sunday. We'll talk to you soon, and our heart goes out, man. Thank you again.
Hey, thanks for having me, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, John, to you too.
Same to you. Talk to you soon, brother.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That dude is straight money, man. I love me some John Perrotta. That is, so that is the man. That's who we've been, brought us down, let us do our thing, hosting for the first time. That was crazy. It
was great. And I really think, in working with John, we'll probably be able to do a little bit more work down Rhode Island and spread our wings down there as well. I think it'll be a great show next year. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it, man. So that's kind of where we're setting, man. Me and Lauren we get Steve's Pinehurst on Tuesday.
Yes.
You got to check out Mac 2's up there.
Mac 2's? What's that?
It's up in Billerica.
I'm gonna have to
ask people about Mac 2's.
All right, then we'll have to. This is one of those if you know type things, I think.
Yeah, we have Steve's Pinehurst Tavern on Tuesday.
With our good friend Colleen's
with our good friend Colleen McCauley, our new friend who we also met at Steve's Pinehurst Tavern, who's going to be hosting.
She's a funny person.
She is definitely funny. And Wednesday night we will be at the infamous Pie Night at Giggles in Saugus, Massachusetts. Having pie and seeing some of the best Boston comics around. We got the whole crew on this show. You name it, they're going to be there.
Yeah, everyone's doing like at least 3 minutes,
Exactly. It's going to be a great night. It always is. Sold out already.
Yeah, and the people we haven't been having a chance to check out,
Yes.
we'll be able to see them pre-Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And that's all I got on the agenda. Kev, man, we got one thing actually before we go, but I want to get Kevin's... hey, what happened to my thing? Anyway, we'll have to get Kevin's opinion on what he's up to for the Thanksgiving. What's the Canes got?
So I'm in jail all week. Hopefully getting paroled every day at 1 o'clock.
Nice.
My shift's 4:45 to 12:45, 1 o'clock every day. At least one day this week they'll tell me I can't go home and I'll be stuck till 9 o'clock.
Yeah, you get forced, huh?
I get forced overtime because we did not plan accordingly for people retiring, and our staffing levels are fucking terrible. So it's not like it's people calling in; it's just we can't staff the place. I'll be in jail on Thanksgiving, and then I'm on vacation Friday for a week.
Oh, all right.
So
Nice.
That's nice, man. Any good plans for the vacation?
No, William's got high school hockey tryouts, so I'll be chauffeur for him and his friends, picking them up at school, getting them right to the rink.
Gotcha.
Tryouts either right here in Southie or in Dorchester, so I'll be Uber.
That'll be Mr. Mum.
I'll be Ubering all week for hockey tryouts.
Nice. When's the Chiefs go back on the ice?
The Chiefs back on the saddle. I think we're playing Wilmington at a 7 a.m. game.
Okay, I would like to know who schedules these games.
These rinks are going from 7 a.m. until 9 o'clock at night.
That is crazy.
Every rink in the Commonwealth. So younger kids get the early games.
That is the and well, last year, it was like everyone was like, oh, hockey's getting picked on because of the coronavirus, but it's good this year, fucking rolling on. Everyone is in there, no mask, chilling.
Yeah, it was last spring. A lot of the kids were getting COVID. I don't know one kid. I knew 20 kids had COVID last spring.
Yeah,
I don't know any.
Yeah,
this fall that has COVID. So that's I don't know if that goes with the parents getting vaccinated and it's just less of it around.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Now kids are starting to get vaccinated too, but that wouldn't have affected early fall. So no games have been canceled. No hockey's still plugging along. And you mentioned the Bruins games. You're supposed to wear a mask at the game.
I didn't see that on TV.
Yeah.
I
thought when they showed someone on the Jumbotron, they'll only show people with masks on. There's nobody wearing a mask.
Right.
Nobody wearing a mask at the game.
Yeah. There's let's go. Who? No. But also too the fact that that's happening and it's not leading to mass fucking sickness is a good sign.
I think it's over. It's over because they got their people in there. So now the Democrats are in there. That the COVID's over now. That they got what they wanted. That's what the spread deck is saying, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's because it's here though, where we have 75% vaccinated. You go to fucking Kentucky, good luck. Game's still on there, man. Fucking.
Also, since we've been here, Boston has a new mayor, Michelle Wu. Poor Michelle. Now I get accused of being liberal like it's an insult. The poor progressives are already eating her alive. Mass and Cass have already come out with demands for her, and if they don't meet her demands to the letter, they're going to eat her alive. This poor girl.
Well,
this poor woman. They're going to just rip her apart.
Yeah.
The day she was elected, NPR, of all people, wrote, not an anti-Michelle Wu. Couldn't be happy that, now, I didn't vote for her, and I don't like one thing she stands for, but I'm you know what? She's my mayor.
Yeah, good luck.
I don't want the plane to go into a mountain. She's flying it.
That's the way I looked at it.
NPR wrote an article about, why couldn't any of the minority people running for election get more votes? Like, that was their main, like, article on NPR. It's like, you couldn't be happy that, like, why do we have to have an okay, the minority people running for election didn't get more votes. But why did that have to be the article on election day about Michelle Wu winning?
Well, and that...
Like that.
I think it would have been much nicer if they just sat and said, we have the first fucking woman mayor.
Yeah.
Thank you. How long did that take?
But, like, NPR of all people, like, can't you be happy?
No.
Like, that, like, she's in there? No, it was like,
no.
Not an anti, but it was kind of like, yeah, but the minorities didn't get more votes.
It's only because they weren't as good of a candidate. Like, that's the whole thing. Like, I'm as liberal and as woke as the next person, man. But, like, honestly, for me, like, being black doesn't automatically make you the best candidate. I mean, if you're black and happen to be the best candidate, I'm 100% for you. But
I don't care if you're a fucking armadillo.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Like,
but you just have to be the best fucking candidate. Like,
You just have to be the best armadillo you can be.
Yeah, you can be a trans armadillo. Fucking.
I don't care.
That doesn't identify as. Yeah, I'm with you. Like, but it's funny though too. Like, but every fucking person, I can't meet one person that's like, hey, I bet she's gonna do a good job. Like, my dad's like, fucking Jesus, and I'm like, Dad, you live in Quincy.
I think she is. I mean, like, her second day after the election, the principal at Thomas School got knocked the fuck out.
Yeah,
by a 16-year-old.
Yeah,
like, she was like, oh, maybe just because of the COVID. Like, no, COVID had nothing to do with it.
No.
She was an asshole 16-year-old. 16-year-olds are assholes.
They should be charged criminally for fucking assault and battery. Sometimes
16-year-olds are assholes.
Yeah.
Like, you can say
Pretty
it.
much. There you go.
You know, it just, I don't know. Okay. But one more criminal thing. I'm big into I texted you the story.
Actually, yeah, we're going to cleanse the palate. Hold on for a second here. This is.
I have not heard this story yet, so I'll be intrigued in a minute, I guess.
This is a very good little mystery.
There's a blog called Live Boston 617. It's some people call it like a pro police blog, but all it is they have a really good photographer go to crime scenes, takes pictures. They write kind of like a police blotter. Mm-hmm. Okay. In the beginning of last week, guy got picked up for picking up a prostitute down in Mass and Cass on Methadone Mile. Picked up a prostitute for $30 and he got released on personal recognizance. Wow, did I just fucking nail that word?
Yeah, you did.
Yes, you did.
Wow. You can now be a hack.
Wow. And got released in just typical story. There's prostitution down there. And then the guy's name was Sean Kane. K-A-N-E, and my brother's name was Sean Kane, coincidentally. And then 5 days later, they come out with the story. This guy, Sean Kane, him and his buddy back in, I believe, 1992, picked up a prostitute down to Chinatown.
Yes.
Now, they were cruising Chinatown. Now, I'm going to get, this is a gist of the story. They were cruising Chinatown, looking for a prostitute, and a prostitute, 17-year-old, no one would get in the car because there's two of them.
Yeah, it's always a bad move.
His friend hid. No,
Take it from me.
He hid in the back, so there was only one of them.
Right.
Picked up a 17-year-old girl. They get back to Quincy.
Never a good sign.
Jumps out of the back. They hold her hostage, beat her, and kill her.
Oh my God!
And I think 3 of them are now involved at this point.
Okay.
They kill her, bring her body to the Quincy quarries.
Oh God!
Throw her in the water. And that's where they dispose of the body.
I'm sure cocaine was used at some point.
A lot of drugs involved.
Yep.
So they very quickly get arrested, and everyone starts flipping on each other. This guy, Sean Kane, goes, I can give you where another hooker is at the Quincy Quarries, where her body is. So the Quincy Police, State Police dive team go in. They find the body, tie a tag to it. The tag wasn't tied good enough. They can no longer find the body again. They can't find the body again. So now there's 2 dead prostitutes that Sean Kane is attached to. Everyone flipped on each other. Sean Kane does 19 years in jail. He's now out cruising Methadone Mile for prostitutes.
Oh,
I'm sure it's going to turn out well.
So who knows how many he's picked up since he's been out. He got out, I believe. I think, with good time, whatever. He got out about 4 years ago.
Oh, okay.
He's been free cruising Methadone Mile, picking up prostitutes. This one he just got arrested with a week ago And even with his past history of 2 dead prostitutes, the judge in Roxbury Court released him with no bail. Oh, yeah, with personal recognizance. So he had no bail, usually means you're stuck in jail. Right. He didn't have a bail put on him.
Just, show up at your next date.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So how many prostitutes has he gotten since then? And was this girl just lucky enough to get away? So if you go to liveboston617.com, has this story about Sean Kane. No relation.
No relation.
Even though that is my brother's name. But one of these days we will get also into the smiley face killer.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Ooh.
We're going to have our own, this is our Boston when we...
Yeah, cheery song about dead prostitutes.
Well, this is when we get to Boston. We got to play this for other people that live in countries or like Belgium.
Like the poor man in Belgium. So he knows what we're talking about.
In France.
We're talking about dead people and methanol.
Okay, that's fun.
But honestly, I think we do have to have a podcast where we fucking just talk about the smiley face killers and
now Sean Kane.
Like there's a big history of like, this is what Kevin does when we goes to the bars. Lauren, he finds a tourist.
Me and Jay helped court at Mr. Dooley's. Like 8 people talking about this smiley face killer.
But then the crowd kept like, it
was like 30 people. The bartenders.
Yeah.
The bartender was like, I know.
I was there that night. It was a foggy night, I'm telling you. But it's a thing of beauty, man.
I sent you a TikTok. It was on TikTok. A guy talking about it.
Yeah.
Like a TikTok, like 2 weeks ago, he goes, I've been shit-faced down by Fenway Park or whatever, countless times. I've never gone to the water to pee.
Never been like, let me go check out the Charles, man.
Yeah, like you pee in a fucking stoop like the rest of us.
Yeah, exactly. And some poor girl's backseat, like fucking.
Yeah. We'll get into smiley face killer someday.
Oh. We definitely will, man. That sounds like a good plan, man. So I think that is our plan for the future. Creepy ass Boston.
Yeah, we'll get into a creepy Boston.
Yeah, we have to. There's a lot.
Oh, we should do that for like next Halloween.
Well, that's a good plan.
We could have done that for that.
We do have a few people that we want to get lined up for the podcast, like John we just had coming up. So stay tuned. Any shout outs anyone wants to give? And any end of the show?
December 9th, all you old crusty screws. Try to get together December 9th in Amarines.
Kev's looking really forward to it. You can tell he's really excited.
Yeah. And I'll make a 10-minute appearance. Just say them there.
Now, me and Lauren be fucking run into the car. I'm sure. Maybe Thomas will bring some ice cream and we'll calm the crowd down.
Yeah,
man.
There we go.
Make some notice.
Exactly.
Ice cream.
So look forward to that. Alrighty, folks. Well, thank you for listening. This has been Let Me Tell You This About That. Oh, I forgot about my friend Amy Galatis. There's been more Dibs updates. Her daughter Lula and her son Will are always good listeners. And Facebook, Dibs Bakery. And when there's stuff to be dealt out, that's mouth-watering good desserts, they will be in touch with you if you reach out to them. Dibs Bakery on Facebook. Anyone you want to give a shout-out about, Lauren?
I will basically, seeing it's after 7, I will give a shout out to, I'll say goodnight to my friend Jake.
There you go. Alrighty, Jakey. Not from State Farm. We will be talking to you guys hopefully in about 2 weeks or something like that. You guys think so?
Yes, I think so.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty. Well, you guys hang tight, everyone. We love you. Happy Thanksgiving out there. Let me tell you this about that. And out.